Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Pride, and this is our last 15 minutes of the show, so whatever you've got to ask, you better get it asked so I can get it answered. So get it in the chat room, either one of them, so I can ask the question. So I'm talking to Lynda Quirino from Paranormal Survivor, and she is our paranormal expert tonight, so we want to talk about this and get all these questions off our chest, and which, like Robin is doing. Robin is doing a great job of getting these questions. And he asks, have you had any experiences with demons?
Well, you mean aside from family members? No. I've had experiences with people who believe that they have demons. I have had an experience with a person who was, by all intents and purposes, possessed. Whether it was a demon or a very malevolent, angry spirit, that remains to be seen. But no, I've never actually spoken with a demon, but I have spoken with people who think that they have demons. And honestly, not every paranormal experience out there is demonic. And that's something that I think a lot of people really focus on these days, is demonic entities. What are they, and what is the actual definition, of a demonic haunting? I know Michelle DeRoche on Paranormal Survivor, she deals with a lot of those types of cases, but truly, personally, no. But the possession that I witnessed, honestly, that was kind of scary.
I would bet so. Brenda asks in the main chat that we're in. She asks, now I gotta go find it again. I just lost my train of thought. Do you see great things in the paranormal community, or for the paranormal community?
I really do. I think that there are so many paranormal teams and so many people that are interested in the paranormal now, and that are making it a passion, as well as a hobby. I think that we're going to see a lot more information, a lot more sharing of experiences, and I see good things. I think with more teams being out there, we're going to capture a lot more interesting and compelling evidence. I see really good things with the paranormal. It's a growing field, and we've come a long way, baby. It's from the 70s. We've really come a long way.
Yeah, we have. I mean, when you were talking earlier about in the 70s, mm-hmm. I recall when I would say things about seeing spirits, hearing spirits, or anything like that, I would be told, don't talk about that stuff. You don't need to do. You don't need to be talking about that. So, at least, true. And nowadays it's a lot easier to discuss it because it's actually out there where we can talk about it. One of the questions in chat is from Gary from CC Paranormal. He asked, how many pastors have you heard that are in the paranormal?
How many pastors? Pastors?
Yeah, ministers.
I only know of a couple that are actually open-minded enough to be involved in any kind of a paranormal issue. Believe it or not, in a former life, I used to be a Catholic Church secretary, and I was asked by one of the priests that I worked with to not mention that this was something that I did. So I went in, did my job, typed up prayers, cleaned things, replaced candles, but was not allowed to talk about my involvement in paranormal research. So I know two pastors that are open-minded enough to become involved, and that's it.
So I'm checking to make sure I don't have any other questions lingering back there. that I missed from very beginning. So that moves very, very quickly, and I don't move fast enough.
That's okay.
So hopefully I took care of Chopped Liver's questions so that she doesn't feel like chopped liver, because she's not. So it looks like I got them all. So
Sounds good.
And well, I don't want anybody to feel slighted, because I'm not slighting anyone.
No.
So, okay, here you go. Robin's wanting to have your personal opinion on Ouija boards and any advice you would give to anyone looking at using one.
Good question. I get that question a lot, actually. Any kind of device that you use to communicate with spirit, whatever that is, any kind of, what are the, gosh.
Dowsing rods?
Yeah, things like that. I would suggest that, well, especially a spirit board, a Ouija board, you're opening yourself up to a lot of what I like to refer to as rogue spirits out there who are kind of looking for an in. So I discourage people from using them strictly because a lot of people who use them don't understand, protection or stopping. It's not a game. You can actually invite things in. Any divination device like that, you are opening yourself up to rogue spirits coming in and making your life difficult. So I don't know. That's really my professional opinion about what those things can do. However, there are people out there who do use them, who are able to use them effectively within an environment, but protect that environment to the point that they understand all about rogue spirits, and they understand that, you have to shut the game down when and feel that it's getting a little bit too much to handle.
Pat asks if you consider ghost boxes and voice boxes divination devices.
Yeah, I kind of do, because I do know people that have contacted me who have used them, because let's face it, you can buy them on Amazon, people. And if you're interested in the paranormal and you're open to finding out everything that you can about it, and you're going to use those things in your own home, you're going to attract things out there. So you can definitely classify them as kind of like divination devices, but more so that you're opening yourself up to the presence of whatever's there. And you know what? You're also opening up yourself to the possibility that there's something there. And a lot of people who use them don't know how to use them effectively, don't know how to use them properly, and also are very susceptible to, scaring themselves with no good reason. You know that. That happens all the time.
It does. It happens way more often than we want to think. So, if I was to use anything to divinate, automatic writing, maybe even just meditating in a certain way,
right?
Unprotected, basically.
Yeah.
If I'm not using protection, I could be possessed.
You can invite something in that, can potentially permeate your sort of etheric coding. Yes, absolutely, for sure. That's why it's always important to know how to do that, to know how to protect yourself. And if you don't know how to do it, then seek out those who do and learn how to do it effectively. Because, I've brought things home from investigations in my years of doing this, and some of them have not been pleasant, and I've had to tell them to leave. And that's before I, became aware of, or even after I became aware of the necessity of protecting myself. I remember forgetting, walking through the door and being distracted and not saying, okay, if anybody's following me, don't follow me. You're not allowed in my house. It's just being distracted. So people bring things in, and then they call people like us and they say, I don't know why it happened. So yeah, learn to protect yourself. I love that. You were hilarious. It's like unprotected hex. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's no. I mean, if I'm unprotected, I'm going to get possessed. If I'm unprotected, I mean, people have to think about that kind of stuff in this day and age, because if I go outside and I'm not protected, I'm going to get a cold. If I go to Walmart, I'm probably going to get sick because there's so many infected people there. So I have to be protected with my Purell, and possibly should start wearing a face mask.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year.
That's true. Hazmat suits.
It's still the same thing. If I'm not prepared for what might happen, then I'm ill prepared.
Yes, exactly.
And so the question next would be, is how do I know that the person that I'm asking for help truly has the knowledge to teach me how to use the device or devices that I'm wanting to learn, such as dowsing rods, pendulum, divining, anything.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I think, like with anything else, proceed with caution. Always find out who is recommending that person. Read reviews about that person. Talk to people who know that person. Educate yourself before you jump in the swimming pool. I think that's the best way to do it. Learn who you're learning from.
That would be my biggest fear, is that if I was to go to someone and say, hey, can you teach me how to do this? I mean, I already know how to use the dowsing rods.
Right.
I used them very effectively and never had an issue. And Gary asked how you feel about dowsing rods, but I'm going to assume that you feel about dowsing rods as you feel about any divination device, as we just spoke about.
Yes. Yeah. And it's hard, because when you're talking about divination devices, you have to open yourself up to the divination device in order for it to be effective. But that also means opening yourself up to all kinds of things, which is why you also have to understand that you need to protect yourself from what you're opening yourself up to, and understand the feeling of, something that's not right that you're opening up to, and something that is right that you're opening up to. I mean, honestly, we could probably talk for about 4 hours.
Oh, just on divination devices alone.
Oh yeah, for sure. And dowsing rods are highly effective. We actually had Susan Collins, who is a professional dowser, as one of our guest speakers at our public paranormal meetings, and it was very well attended. And she was quite interesting and very knowledgeable about the entire process. So if you're going to use dowsing rods and you don't know how to use them, go to somebody who does.
I agree 100%. If somebody wanted to find Lynda Quirino out there, how would they find you?
They would go onto Google and look up the Georgina Paranormal Society. They would go to Georgina Paranormal Society .weebly.com. They could also go to Facebook, Georgina Paranormal Society. Oh, and Twitter too, @Georgina Ghosts.
Yes, and she's very good at hearting things on Twitter. She does all the time. I see them all the time, and I'm grateful for every little heart that I get. And she is one of the most loving people out there when something's going wrong. And I am truly grateful to have her on as a true friend, not a Facebook friend. So I hope you guys will all go out there and support Georgina Paranormal, watch Paranormal Survivor. And when you watch Paranormal Survivor and you see Lynda Quirino on there, you can go, she's Denise's friend. And of course, I have friends in the chat room that everybody's Denise's friends, because